The Russians are chaotically moving equipment after successful Ukrainian strikes, according to Atesh, the Ukrainian partisan movement that has been surreptitiously attacking Russian troops and materiel in occupied Crimea. Ukraine struck an airfield in occupied Berdyansk on October 17th with ATACMS missiles, recently provided by the United States. Previously, on September 22nd, Kiev struck the Russian Black Sea Fleet's headquarters in Sevastopol, an attack in which Ukraine claims to have killed 34 Russian officers. Atesh reports that the Russian army is hiding its military equipment near Crimean railway stations for fear of continuing Ukrainian strikes. This method allows Russian troops to avoid large concentrations of equipment and to quickly load the train cars, almost exclusively at night, for transportation to the front. Concentrations of equipment were noticed near the Ostriakova, Zhirankoi, and Simferopol railway stations, as well as others. No tricks will help them, because Atesh has eyes all over the peninsula, the partisan said. We record every movement and accumulation of equipment. The enemy will inevitably be destroyed. In addition, Russia has tightened security at railroad depots on the Crimean Peninsula due to recurring acts of sabotage. The Simferopol station has also introduced an enhanced regime of service, with special attention to the control of photo and video recordings, local partisans said. Ukrainian underground movements have escalated their campaign of sabotaging railway facilities. On October 13th, Ukrainian partisans blew up a Russian train in Melitopol, cutting off Russian troops from ammunition and fuel supplies destined for the Zaporizhzhia front. Although Russian authorities have reacted to increased security, the Atesh guerrillas are confident that such actions will not help the occupation forces stay safe in temporarily occupied Crimea. The security measures demonstrate the occupiers' serious concern about the safety of rail transportation and emphasize the importance of ensuring the stability and reliability of the transportation infrastructure in this region, the partisans said. The Russian army also has problems with military personnel, Atesh reports, as the local authorities in the Donbas have taken desperate steps and begun to mobilize miners in the Luhansk region. Miners at local enterprises have been issued summonses in Rovenki, Krasny Luk, and Krasnodon. The propaganda narrative about protecting Donbas residents and miners is no longer even mentioned by the Raxists, Saisi. They are forcing local residents to fight against fellow Ukrainians. But this allows us to attract more and more agents to our ranks, the guerrillas say. It is a common practice of the partisan movement to involve Russian military personnel in the Ukrainian resistance. In fact, Russian servicemen helped collect all the information necessary to direct the Ukrainian attack on the Russian Black Sea Fleet in Sevastopol. In exclusive comments to Kiev Post, a spokesperson for Atesh outlined some of the details of the operation. We managed to attract one of the military members of the Russian Black Sea Fleet, the spokesperson said. He got up-to-date information about the placement and probable combat missions of the Rostov-on-Don submarine. And let's see the other news. This is the moment when Russian assault group is hit with 2 cluster munition strikes, forcing it to retreat.
Все чисто справа. Справа чисто. Берем его. Кассета на. Триста нахуй. Ой, тоже. Я могу уйти, уходим. Давай, быстрее, бегом, Маш. Забрал. 300, чё? 300. У меня еще 300, я тоже 300. Давай, берем его.
After lying about it for 24 hours, Russians now admit they did not shoot down Ukrainian ATACMS yesterday in Lugansk, and that Ukrainians in fact destroyed several of their S-400 batteries. Yesterday, the Ministry of Defense reported the downing of 2 ATACMS missiles. The source from Russian intelligence ironically described the reality as follows. It's exactly like that. 2 ATACMS missiles were destroyed as a result of a direct hit on the air defense group positions of the armed forces of Russia in the Luhansk region, at the cost of 3 S-400 installations located there. Losers. Russian sappers in Avdiivka had a really bad day. Only the Russian army, without any regard for human lives, would continue such a disastrous offensive as the one in Avdiivka. In this regard, the Russians are no better than ISIS or Al-Qaeda. In fact, even they would not continue such suicide attacks at the cost of their soldiers. Simply put, human life is a worthless category in Russia. I am not an expert, but this Russian ICBM test doesn't look too successful. Kinda goes a bit wobbly. The Kremlin said a Yars intercontinental ballistic missile was fired from the northwestern Plesetsk Cosmodrome to a test site in Russia's far eastern Kamchatka region. Another ballistic missile was fired from a nuclear-powered submarine in the Barents Sea, and air-launched cruise missiles were test-fired from 295 MS long-range bombers. Helmets, like in the Second World War. The Ukrainian defender with a call sign witch showed what the occupiers are fighting in the Bakhmut direction. She says that this iron crap doesn't protect against shrapnel or anything at all. The owner of this helmet was eliminated. At the end, she shows a Ukrainian helmet for comparison, which is effective against shrapnel.
Уламки. Можливо, якби власник цієї каски був нормальний, він би вижив. А тут вони не виживають. А ще гірше, що їх навіть ніхто не забирає. Свої ж не забирають.
International criminal, terrorist, and murderer tries to look like a victim. He says words of sympathy, at the same time killing people in Ukraine. Such cynicism.
Россия на себе испытала и знает, что такое международный терроризм. Мы знаем, что это такое. Мы всегда будем чувствовать горечь невосполнимых потерь, понесенных страной в годы борьбы с международным терроризмом.
A conversation appeared online between Dmitry Rogozin, ex-head of Roscosmos, and Dmitry Baranov, head of Russian Progress Rocket Space Center. The conversation reportedly took place in January 2023. They discussed organizing a strike on a large Ukrainian city with a carrier missile that is used for space flights. They reached the conclusion that it would be best to launch it from the space pad in Plesetsk with explosives on board. They were worried that parts of the rocket might fall on Russian territory and that the error on impact might be up to 100 kilometers.
Я с Соломоном созвонился, завтра утром мы с ним переговорим по закрытой, потому что сегодня у меня по открытой звонил просто. Поэтому где-то завтра до 9 часов его уже уразумлю, но бумагу по этому предложению я сегодня передал, она 14-го будет у Верховного. Переговорил с вами, рассказал ему по поводу этой большой штуки, которая может прилететь с Архангельской области. В принципе, он очень заинтересовался, значит, просил в понедельник представить бумагу, которую он доложит начальнику на сей счет.
Thanks for watching and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you wanna support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.